Hey there, everybody. We are here. It's Christmas time, and we are back in the kitchen to share some Christmas recipes with you, or recipes that you should be making through the Christmas season. We're here because of our pastors' wives' commitment, the commitment to pastors' wives to empower and encourage you throughout the seasons of life. I am joined today by my sister-in-law, Miss Kanika, Mrs. Kanika Evans. She and my brother, Pastor Jonathan Evans. I have to remember to say that.
I know.
Pastor Jonathan Evans have been married for 18 years. They have 5 children, and she loves being in the kitchen. So we're so excited about this episode because I think if you love being in the kitchen, you're going to get something out of this. If you don't enjoy being in the kitchen, you're going to get something out of this. And this is going to be great for everyone. So we're here because my mother loved the holidays, loved cooking, and loved providing an atmosphere of hospitality for her guests. And she did that throughout all time. And she shared a bunch of recipes with like different pastors' wives and different women that she knew over the years, and knew that this time of year could be very stressful for people trying to figure out all the things. And we've done a couple of episodes with her, so if you haven't watched those, you totally should. And she's no longer with us, but we continue in the spirit and the legacy of supporting pastors' wives to do what we think would be useful to you in this season. So if you're a pastor's wife, thanks for joining us. If you are not, you're getting the overflow of our ministry to pastors' wives, and we're glad to have you here. Okay, so I'm going to make a simple and hearty recipe. Kanika is going to make simple and healthy. The key consistent word is
simple. Amen.
Because the holidays can be anything but simple.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I know we'll talk a little bit more about this. We're going to cook first, and then we're going to talk while we cook. And then we're going to talk after we cook too.
Okay.
Because we have lots to say about keeping the holidays simple. So how do you feel before we get started about holidays and simplicity?
Usually those two words don't go together. But I do enjoy the holidays, even though it's craziness.
Yeah.
I'm there for the
You're
crazy.
there to make it happen.
Yeah.
All the recipes that we make today can be found on loisevans.org/recipes. So let's get started. Okay, so when I think about simple, I think about the crock pot.
Amen.
I learned a long time ago that if I wanted to not have to be stressed out about dinner at 4:35, 5:30, put something in the crock pot and let it go. So we're going to make 2 things today that both can be used in a slow cooker.
Okay.
The first of those is slow cooker short ribs, and then slow cooker mashed potatoes. I only have one slow cooker dish here, and the mashed potatoes can be made in a slow cooker, just in a pan. So we're gonna actually do the beef in the slow cooker first. Okay, so the first thing that you wanna do is here's our beef, isn't it beautiful? It's like I have fun pretending like I'm on a cooking show.
I know. I mean, but you are on a cooking show.
Oh gosh, okay. So you've got beef short ribs, and you're gonna basically cook them first so that they are nice and browned when they come out of the crock pot. So the first thing we're gonna do is to put some salt and pepper and flour on them. And Kanika, the recipe that we have that we're giving to you, it has how much salt and pepper, but you got to do what you got to do. So here you go.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you do what you think is appropriate.
Is there already salt and pepper in there?
No. This is just pure flour.
Okay.
The recipe calls for a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And then of course that also depends on how big your short ribs are. So feel free. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is use this flour to make sure that the beef has something to help it to brown. What's that?
There's tongs.
Oh, she wants me to use tongs.
Tongs.
I can. If you're doing a cooking show, you should use tongs.
And we are doing a cooking show.
Well, what I was actually gonna say is, I will wash my hands for sure, y'all. But so this is the pretty way to do it. So whenever Mommy Nani wanted to make anything, fried chicken or whatever with flour, the flour would go into a brown paper bag, and then she would just shake it up. So you can use your hands, use tongs, or stick a fork in it and throw it in the brown paper bag. So this recipe calls for 1/4 cup of butter. Again, do what seems right in your own eyes. I also want to say this recipe has lots of things in it. It's lots of fun things. I have also taken the short ribs, put salt and pepper on them, thrown them in the crock pot, squeezed a bottle of barbecue sauce in there, and put the top on and come back at 5 p.m.
I have done that also.
Okay, great.
Very good.
But we're doing the Christmas version. Okay, so we're gonna move over here, and I guess we should bring the tongs. Okay, we'll let that steep a little bit more. Wash my hands.
Do that.
And the goal is to sear it. I always felt like if a recipe was like brown at first, I was like, too much work.
Yep. Skip.
Yeah, it's like too much work. I think half of the battle of simple is simply that I don't have to think about it at 4:30. That's
It's ready when you go home.
That's right. Do you know what all this fun stuff is called after you cook
No.
anything in a pan, like meat?
What's it called?
Okay, I felt very official. Frond.
Frond.
Frond. F-O-R-N-D.
Okay.
I think we're good enough.
Okay.
And again, feel free to make this as brown as you would like, to your liking. Okay, great. So if you want to bring that over here and just put them here, because then we'll go back and make the sauce. Just put those in here and let them rest. That's what real cooker people would say. Let it rest. Why do we let things rest? To hold the juices in or something like
Yes,
that?
if you cut it while it's
Ooh, that smells
hot.
good though. Goodness.
pour all this
No,
in.
not yet.
saving this for something else.
We're gonna
Okay.
save it. We're gonna save it. Okay, so the first thing is we need a cup of chopped onion. And maybe we put the pan back here. Then we can make sure everybody can see all the fun things.
In the front.
In the front, that's correct. And this has a recipe, but it's gonna be about a cup. Okay, so that looks like about a cup to me. And I like onion, so there's that. So we're gonna do our onion. And then we're gonna have a cup of beef broth. I'm gonna work on that right there. And I'll crack things open. A cup of beef broth. I used to see like white wine vinegar and red wine vinegar in the pantry and be like, she drinks wine. I didn't know. So we have a cup of beef broth, 3/4 a cup of red wine vinegar. Really, sometimes I just tell me exactly what to do so I don't have to think about
So
it.
you don't mess it up. You don't want to do all that work and then it doesn't taste good.
One time in college, I was trying to be creative. So I made macaroni and cheese, and I thought, what will happen if I put some meat in there? And meat goes with ketchup. So I had meat and ketchup mixed in my macaroni and cheese. Don't do that.
Did you eat it though?
I had 2 bites, and then I think I made Karis eat 2 bites, and then we threw and I made a big old 9 by 13 inch pan of it.
Wait, you ate 2 bites first?
Yeah.
And then you...
Brown sugar, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar that has been predetermined.
Do I have a spoon?
You need a spoon.
Oh, a fork.
Yep,
Jesus.
that'll work. We need 1/4 of a cup of chili sauce. Wait, is this the chili sauce? Okay. More or less, depending on how spicy you want it to be. 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Now, when it comes to tablespoons and ketchup, do you actually do the tablespoons or do you eyeball it?
I actually do the tablespoon.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, now what I've just said about ketchup, you might not want me to eyeball it, but I'm gonna eyeball it. Because I want to free people up, Like that looks about a tablespoon. That looks about a tablespoon. Okay.
But when you do a tablespoon, if you measure it, do you use the measuring cup or do you use an actual tablespoon?
I use whatever is available. I grew up using a tablespoon out of the drawer.
Right.
Because this is
like
cute
fancy.
because these get lost. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
2 tablespoons of how do we say the word?
How do you say it?
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. That's how I say it.
Say it again.
Worcestershire?
Worcestershire. I always feel wrong. Okay, I'll measure this. 2 tablespoons. Okay, Hold on. You know how I know I'm grown? Because when I use a lot of the seasonings that are frequently used in my house, I take the top off and don't sprinkle because that takes too long.
It just means you're busy. You're trying to be more efficient?
Yeah, like I kind of know how much. I just try to use my wrist to determine instead of...
Oh, got it.
Yeah. And then I buy the big Costco versions.
You do.
Okay, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. We got that over there. And then 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Awesome.
And something else?
Chili powder? What is that? Oh, that was the salt and pepper.
It's fine.
Oh gosh. Okay, this is too much fun. Calm down, Chrystal. Okay.
Here we go.
There we go. And it's just 1 teaspoon. Are we eyeballing it?
You can eyeball it. I might mess it up.
1 teaspoon. That seems about right. I mean, you know, it probably was supposed to be a little bit more.
You can't get it wrong. I feel like you can.
You can get it wrong. It's a crock pot dish. That's correct. And you can always taste it at the end and add whatever is missing.
There you go.
Okay. That's how you also know when you're becoming grown, because you go, it needs a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that. Because really, our mothers are grown and do this kind of thing. We're just trying to figure out what in the world we're doing.
Yes.
So you stir that up, and we're going to cook that some more. Mix this together, you bring it to a boil, and then you pour it over the ribs to cook it for 9 hours. It says cook on oil. How what? Yes, bring it to a boil. And it says on low for 9 hours. You can cook it on high for closer to 5 to 6. But lower and slower is the drill. And then I would check on it because different crock pots cook at different temperatures. And so yours might need 6 or 7. Because what will happen is if you cook it too long, it will still be good. It just won't be whole pieces. It'll start breaking apart and be super shreddy. But maybe that's the way you want it. I know. Okay, so while we are waiting on our sauce to boil, we are going to start working on our potatoes. Did we use all of our minced garlic? We have more? Okay, great. So this is super simple. You just need minced garlic, bouillon cubes for chicken. You can use the actual cubes, or you can use, sometimes it comes in a thick paste that you can just use. I forget what it's called, but you can get it from the grocery store. And this is not, she's doing simple and healthy. I'm doing simple and hearty. There's a difference. So this has cream cheese and sour cream in it. And of course butter, and then salt and pepper to taste. So super, super simple. So do you mind mashing this out? We've got half a cup of butter.
Does this count as my workout for the day?
I know, it seems like it should. I was gonna cut this, but this is the half a cup of butter.
There we go.
But I'm still gonna section it off so it's easier to mash. Okay, so we've got our butter there. We've got an 8-ounce package of cream cheese. Keep an eye on that starting to boil. I have my recipes in on my computer, but I also have them in a 3-ring notebook inside plastic covers.
I do too.
Because this knife is dirty, and I just laid it down on the recipe. So,
and if you cook with your kids.
And if you cook with your kids, they're going to mess it up.
They don't care about
I feel like a messed up recipe adds a little character. It says...
It's been tested.
It's been tested, tried, true. You should, this recipe has writing on it, check marks. One of the things I learned from Mom is that if you looked at her recipes, you could see where she made them her own. She'd be like, use less salt, use less, right.
Or change the time.
Exactly, to match her oven. So feel free to love on your recipes, but then when they've had enough love, put them in plastic sleeves to preserve them. So when you're cooking with your kids, you mentioned that. Is that a regular occurrence? Or is that okay, I made up my mind today, this is a dish I'm making with the kids? Is this all the kids? Do they take turns?
I usually try to find something to involve them in some part of the recipe.
Like every day?
If they're home while I'm cooking.
Yeah.
I try to. Now, Kelsey, my oldest, she loves to cook, so.
Yes.
And then the other ones are kind of following along. Like they want to be, the girls at least want to be in the kitchen.
Now, does she like to cook like anything, or is she kind of a, I like to bake, or she just like get out of the kitchen, let me do what I want to do?
No, yeah, she wants to cook everything. Do we need to pour that?
Yeah, I think we're just about there.
Okay.
All right. Ooh, that smells good. It smells so good. Okay, so after that, with these short ribs, literally all you do is put it in the crock pot and let it just sit and smell up your whole house. If I were you, because this version of this beef recipe takes the extra cooking and the combination of other things, I would definitely double the recipe. Okay, so we're gonna put this away while we continue stirring up this fun. Oh yeah, just great. I think we got it all in. Let's see. And then you just transfer either to a slow cooker for 2 to 3 hours, or you can bake it, and I would bake it just low and slow. So 300 degrees, because really it's all cooked. The potatoes were already cooked. You're just making sure that all the flavors meld together and all the cheesy things melt and make your potatoes super, super fluffy. The last thing I wanted to show you really quickly was put this over to the side, was broccoli. Broccoli, if you can cook it so many different ways, and I just want to share with you a super quick and easy way that I do it. I simply put olive oil, more salt and pepper always, and then onion. And if you toss that together and put it on a cookie sheet and roast it for like 10, no more than 15 minutes max, it is so very good. Do y'all do that?
We eat that at our house
all the time.
My kids like actually get excited.
Yes. Well, I made it for first Sunday dinner this time. Did you see that?
It was good.
Because my friend came over and I had made it for dinner, and she said, "How come you don't make this on first Sundays?" And I was like, "It's just broccoli." She said, "It is so good." So you just put a little bit, I'll let you put a little bit of onion there, whatever you think is the right amount here. And you can cut them like that. You can cut them in slivers, just the way that they will look good to you on the pan. And again, adjusting for what your family likes or doesn't like with onion. And then a little salt, a little pepper. Yep. And you want all of your broccoli to be coated by the olive oil. But that's it.
Yeah.
Just roast this 10 to 15 minutes. Roast means high.
Like
so 425, 10 or 15 minutes, and then you're done. Simple,
Until
hearty.
they have like the little crispy edges.
Yeah, they have to have a little brown tinge just on the little florets.
Yeah.
Then you know you're done. All right, sound good?
Yep.
Not healthy, but definitely hearty.
Well, this one's good.
This one is good.
That's balanced.
That potatoes.
Balance.
Oh, forgot our bouillon cubes. They would still be good.
Yeah.
So in theory, what had happened was bouillon cubes, when you are cooking your potatoes, which we started with our potatoes already cooked, you would add the bouillon cubes to your water. So that would make sure that your potatoes
While they're boiling.
Yep. So they're super, super flavorful. But don't worry, because this is what happens in the kitchen, and you just make it up as you go.
Yeah.
The full recipes, y'all, for all of these are at loisevans.org/recipes. Okay, so we have made simple and hearty. Now let's make some simple and healthy. What do we got here?
Okay, so we're gonna start with a recipe I call rainbow pasta. I made it up. I'm not a cook, like for real. But
Cooks
I did
make things up.
But I did make this. This is like my one claim to fame that my kids love. Okay.
So far.
Okay, so to create the rainbow, you're just gonna start with, thank you. Sweet peppers. For one serving, you would do like 2 bags with 1 sleeve of pasta.
So like the little bag of sweet peppers that you get where they're just, okay.
In my house, we do 4 bags and 2 sleeves of pasta, and it still is gone in one night because the kids love it. So I'm just gonna cut off the top, and then I de-seed the inside.
You're working that bread knife.
I'm trying. Like that.
What do you normally use, like a paring knife or something like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
just a regular old knife.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna cut it in half.
Only real cooks say de-seed.
Well, I'm trying for my one real recipe. I gotta say the real words. And then I just cut it kind of into little squares like this. You can make them whatever size you want as long as they're consistent. So.
Did you use the ends?
I don't.
Okay, great.
I just toss those. And do you want to help me cut?
Yeah, sure.
And this is something that my kids actually helped me with. So I bought them these little gloves you can put on that help keep you from cutting your hand. I got them on Amazon. So they put it on their holding hand, and then they can help cut stuff.
Who knew? Did you just think one day somebody has had to invent something like this?
I did.
That happens a lot, where you think, has somebody figured this out?
And someone has.
And someone has.
So I didn't get to.
I feel like I'm not following your instructions.
Okay.
You just seeded before you cut them open.
Yes. But you don't have to. You can do it the other way.
Is there a reason why?
I don't know.
Because you made it up.
Because I made it up. And I got to choose the order.
You get to choose the order. And I probably would do that if I was. Okay. Well, this is fun.
Yeah.
So the kids do this part.
The kids do this part. Or sometimes I might, like if this is too detailed for them to de-seed, I'll just have them go through and cut off all the tops. So, and then they'll leave me this part. And then I will go through and de-seed it. So then they feel like they're doing something, which they are. They actually are doing something. And I think that helps them get more excited about eating it too.
Now, are all of your children interested in helping in the kitchen?
I would say the boys are less interested, mainly J2. My son J2, he's 14.
He's just like, when is it going to be ready?
Yeah. We kind of compare him to, if you've seen Inside Out 2, the character Ennui. We compare him to that. But I do make him come in the kitchen too, because one day he's going to move out and he's going to need to cook for himself.
That's correct. And not assume that his wife is the only person who cooks.
Right. Or it might be a while before he gets married.
That's correct.
So there's that.
Now, does Jonathan cook?
He does.
Okay. That's great.
He does.
Y'all are kind of a teamwork situation.
We are. Because it just depends on who has the kids that day and running around and doing all the things.
Now, are these peppers spicy?
They are not spicy.
So we're de-seeding them just for visuals and texture.
Yeah. And
not for spiciness.
Yeah. And I think still the taste is different if you leave the seeds in.
If you leave the seeds in, okay.
But no, they're not spicy at all.
I may not be being a good sous chef.
That's okay.
I'm doing my best.
That's okay. So let's take out the ones that we cut.
Yep. So olive oil.
Olive oil.
Okay, now are you a olive oil person or an organic olive oil person, an EVOO person?
Okay, well in general, when I make this recipe, I use organic everything.
Okay.
Now, the difference between olive oil and EVOO, extra virgin, I don't really know the difference.
You don't really know the difference?
Just whatever is in my cabinet that day.
But it's typically organic.
Correct.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be. It still turns out fine with that.
Okay, great.
So what I'm gonna do is, can you put these over there? Got that?
Yep. Okay.
And then I chop a red onion. And really this you can do as much as you like or as little as you like.
Are y'all an onion family?
No. I mean, I like them. Jonathan likes them. One of the kids likes them. Maybe I should have.
One of my kids, I can't remember which one. I was like, why do you put so much onion in everything?
I know.
Because I like it.
Even in this dish, the kids sometimes don't want to eat the onion, but I just told them to eat it all together.
Yeah.
And then they like it.
So it sounds like picky eaters may not be your thing.
No.
I love how you said that. Say it again, just like that.
No.
I mean, I feel like encouraging the kids to try something new.
Yeah.
Like even when we think about the holidays, so whether we're talking about food or activities, you can find the thing that you love that you always do, the foods that you always eat, but then every now and then just shaking it up a little bit, to expand their palate.
Yeah, I usually unless there's something they just have a very large aversion to, like I let them have their one thing.
Yeah.
And then other than that, if they just kind of don't prefer it, I just say, well, just take a bite, because you can train your palate to, I know you know.
Listen, I'm trying to keep up with you.
So I'm gonna cut this in half, and then I just do a simple cut on the onion. I just cut it.
So you're not mincing it.
No.
You're not going
just
in.
a very rough cut like this. And then I'm just gonna set these sections on here like this.
Okay.
And
So we're separating them? Like you're gonna keep the onion separate from the...
No, because they're all gonna mix in together into the pasta dish anyway.
Okay, great.
I kind of lay them on their side so they have more surface area for when we season them.
Sounds like a cook to me.
I mean...
Surface area, rough chop. Only real cooks say things like that.
Well, you did just say mince. So maybe we're both real cooks in the making.
I'm back to my hands. I can't. Clean hands. Touch your food.
Clean.
Yeah. Am I supposed to be breaking these up?
No.
Oh, don't.
No,
I'm
don't
sorry.
pull them apart. You just leave them as little families like that. Just little families.
Okay, we could do that. Amazing.
Then it's easy.
Okay, great.
Okay, so imagine full pan of all the things. Or 2 pans. Like when I make it for my family, it's 2
cookie sheets full of just veggies.
of just veggies.
Okay.
Okay?
Ooh, the onion. Do you know what a real good fix for that is?
What?
If you put your onion, any onion, in a refrigerator for 10 or 15 minutes before you chop it, it won't release the gases that make you cry.
Interesting.
And if you need to go faster, you can put it in the freezer for like 5 minutes, but it will stop that liquid from releasing the gas, which makes you cry.
You know the chemistry of that?
I was researching one day. That's what I do.
But that's good because whenever the kids cut it, then that would probably help them.
Exactly. A little cold goes a long way for no crying.
Okay.
Alliteration not attempted.
But well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so then I have my olive oil like in one of those little...
Because that's what real cooks do.
It was a gift. It was a gift. And I just kind of, I'll let you pour it.
Okay, but I feel like I'm gonna like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
you
good?
kind of want every piece to be coated. Technically, you can toss them in a bowl.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't want to do that extra step. I just want to get it done as fast as possible.
That's correct.
So you're going to do that with the olive oil, and then you're going to salt and pepper.
Okay. We'll use the sprinkle side.
Yeah.
Okay, salt and
because it's going to mix in with noodles, you can use a lot because it's not going to overpower because it's going to be mixed in with the noodles. So you can use a lot of salt and pepper.
Okay. Okay, pepper. This is the open side.
Oh,
this is
that's how I
This
see
is me
pepper
being
like
grown.
that. Yes.
This is me being grown. Okay. All right. To taste, right?
To taste.
Okay.
And then you're going to put this in the oven at 425 for about 25 to 30 minutes or until the edges are browned. While the peppers and the onion are in the oven, we're gonna boil the pasta.
Okay.
So I use angel hair pasta because the dish is so light and it doesn't have meat. It just helps the flavors.
Which is thinner, angel hair or thin?
Angel hair.
Angel hair, okay.
Yes.
And do we break our pasta or do we put it in whole?
You know, I recently have just started putting it in whole, but partially because I'm making a bigger batch. And you know, angel hair pasta cooks so fast.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to cook unevenly. So because I'm doing more than one package of pasta, I just throw it in.
Okay.
Once it reaches a boil, then I just throw it in.
You keep saying you're not a cook, but then you keep doing cookish things.
Is that a cookish thing?
You say cookish things, you do cookish things. The way you just put it in there, you didn't just put it in, you kind of feathered it through.
Well,
just say it. Just own it.
Maybe I'm a cook.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, so once the pasta is cooked, I am just going to dump it in a casserole dish.
And you gave me this. I'm going to start cutting this up. Is this garnish at the end? Is that what's happening?
It is.
Okay. Okay.
So it's whatever size you prefer.
Ooh. Okay.
Now, while the pasta is hot, you want to add in the spinach. So I just chopped fresh spinach because I'm just trying to figure out how to add more veggies in for the kids to eat, and they can't really taste it.
So literally, this is not a recipe. This is not, you just are like, how can I get them to eat veggies?
Pretty much.
It's great.
pretty much.
It's great.
So I just add a bunch of that in and I try to mix it in so it will start to wilt. The smaller the pieces, the better, because it wilts faster. So I just toss that in with tongs, because we have tongs. And now the peppers that we roasted and the onions, I'm just gonna throw those in as well.
Looks so good. How is this garnish cut? Like, are you slicing them or?
You can like do cubes or slices.
Okay.
So now the peppers are in there and the onions. I'm gonna toss that as well.
So pretty.
And then I usually do salt to taste, because depending on how much you salted your veggies, you may need to add more salt. And one of my kids does not like tomatoes. Otherwise,
That was literally my next question. I was like, so do any of your kids not like this, or is there something in it that they're just like,
yeah, one of them does not like the tomatoes. And so I just leave those on the side or just put those on the table while we eat.
Okay.
And then as each person is serving themselves, they can just put their tomatoes on
That's
top.
the one thing.
And the avocado. Because one of them doesn't like that either.
Okay, great.
And so as they make their individual bowls, they make their bowl, add their tomato, add their avocado if they want it, add more salt if they want it. That's it.
Now, what are you eating this with?
This is it.
This is it. So this is a vegetarian dish.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it vegan?
I don't know the caveats for veganism.
Vegan is no
dairy.
animal, no dairy. So technically this would be vegan. There you have it.
And I'm a
folks.
vegan chef.
You're a vegan chef. That's correct.
There we go.
So what do I do? Just sprinkle this over the top?
Yes.
If you
Should
were
we
going
just
to do
make
it.
full out?
We should just make it full out.
Okay.
So everybody can see the beautiness of it.
So these are the multicolored tomatoes.
You're not mixing them in, they just go on the top.
Yep, they just go on top.
Okay.
Because we don't really want them to get hot.
Yeah.
So we'll put some of those on top.
Why don't you want them to get hot?
Want them a little crisp on them.
Sounds like a cook. Only cooks care about whether or not they
The
get mushy.
texture.
That's correct.
Well, I'm a cook. So
there you go.
I'm also a vegan chef. And
I'll let you make the
Okay.
beauty imprint.
we're gonna add the avocado on top.
And you make this about twice a month?
At least twice a month.
At least twice a
My
month.
kids request it frequently.
That's great.
So I'm happy to make it for them. And really, like, you could prepare half of this the night before. You could chop the veggies the night before, chop the spinach, and then that way the next day you're just throwing them in the oven.
And even though this is an everyday dish, and I know we're talking about cooking simply and healthy through the holidays, like this looks like Christmas to me.
Yeah.
It's just like you could
Like
show up with this at a
festive.
Christmas party. It's healthy. Yeah, and it's different because you made it up. It's great. It's beautiful. I'm going to steal it.
Perfect.
You can steal it. Make it. Maybe I'll make it for first Sunday. Maybe you should make it for first
should
Sunday.
make it for first.
You should make it for first Sunday.
And the full recipe for this can be found on loisevans.org/recipes.
Looks good. Can't wait to dive in. Okay, so we made this beautiful pasta dish, and it was vegan.
Yes.
But salmon is not.
Salmon is not.
Okay, so talk to us about this salmon situation.
Okay, so this is a pretty simple recipe I found that actually my daughter likes to make now. After we made it together the first time, and then now she just runs away with it. So pretty simple to put the ingredients. It's a 1/4 cup of salted butter, 4 cloves of garlic. I'll let you.
4 cloves of garlic.
And then a 1/3 cup of honey.
Okay.
All of this is going to go in a saucepan over medium-high heat. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the butter in so it can start melting. Let's see, and
You know what a trick is for getting your honey out?
what's that?
If you put a little oil just with your finger in there, then the honey will slide out. It won't get stuck.
That's a good tip, because you're a cook. Let's see. 4 tablespoons of soy sauce.
We're gonna eyeball it.
Okay.
Or it's tablespoons. I mean, that's kind of,
The lid.
yeah, I mean, you can go with that. That's more like a teaspoon.
One.
It's kind of in between. It's like a teaspoon and a half.
Two.
That's a tablespoon. 1.5. 2.
Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because 3.
That's good. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you know, there you go.
That's fine. And then 1 teaspoon of sea salt.
Mm-hmm.
And a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. And then 1 teaspoon of garlic powder.
Come on, eyeballer. Shot caller.
We'll figure out if the shots were called once we cook it. Okay, and then this is going to go, yes, we're gonna whisk it.
This smells so good. I think I have salmon that needs to be cooked today, actually.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, and then this is going to go in the pan with the butter.
Mm-hmm. I am so serious.
So now you can just pour that over the salmon.
Okay, so we are putting all of our seasoning in the sauce.
Oh, actually, the seasoning would go
If that's what you choose to do as a cook.
if you choose to switch it up. Or you can add the salt, the pepper, and the garlic powder first, and then put the sauce on top.
You're doing
So
both.
I'll do a
little bit.
salt, garlic
This
powder,
smells so. Ooh, goodness.
and pepper. Good. And then all you have to do is just pour it on.
Can I poke holes in it a little
Sure.
bit? Make sure it gets in there. It smells so good. And I love salmon, so am I using it all?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, normally you would have more
More
fillets.
yeah. Okay. Very good.
And then this is just gonna go into the oven. I'm just gonna put it on top.
Very good.
And when it is finished,
Ooh.
this is what it looks like.
Wow.
So some of it is gonna stay on the salmon, some of it's gonna run off, and then you just take whatever has run off, put it back on.
So do you serve from the cookie sheet or you put it in a dish and people get to soup there?
I serve from the cookie sheet. I have 5 kids.
That's correct. That's correct.
No serving
And
platters.
then you get the foil and you put it
Oh,
like
yeah,
this
then
and you,
make a little slide.
That looks so good.
Yes.
I feel like you should cook this for Poppy.
He doesn't like fish.
He wants her to cook for him so bad. Like 18 years in.
Yeah. And every time he sees me, he reminds me.
Uh-huh.
And I like to make fish, but he doesn't like fish.
You should put this on some chicken.
Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, because it's good.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we have done our job to cook things in the kitchen because we are cooks, correct?
We are cooks.
Now, there are women, though, who are truly just amazing, over-the-top cooks.
For real, for real.
My mother, her mother-in-law, Mrs. Lois Evans, is one of those women, and one of her dearest friends, Mrs. Trina Jenkins, is as well. Miss Trina has served alongside her husband in ministry, Pastor John Jenkins, in Maryland, First Baptist Church of Glen Arden, for over 40 years. They've been married. They've got 6 kids, 7 grandkids, and she delights in all things kitchen. So we reached out to her both as a true cook and as our mother-in-law's friend to share one of her favorite dishes in the kitchen. I can't wait for you to see and experience Miss Trina.
Well, hello, welcome to my kitchen. I am Trina Jenkins and I'm excited to have you in my home today. Well, it's holiday time and you know how busy we get around holiday time. Good food, family, friends in the kitchen, around the table. It's so much going on. So I love to entertain, but I don't always have time to do recipes that take a long time to fix the good food. So I like to do things that are easy and simple. So I want to share a recipe with you. It is a French bread casserole. And the thing that I love about this is you can prep for it, put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then you get up on Christmas morning, Thanksgiving morning, you don't have time for breakfast, use this recipe. All right, so what do? You buy your favorite French bread baguette. And I like to use the baguettes instead of a loaf of French bread because the baguettes, you just slice them 1-inch slices, lay them in your favorite casserole dish, and then you mix your eggs up. And I want to show you how I mix my eggs up, all right? So first thing I do, I have like 8 eggs. That's a lot of eggs, but it's so good. And when you have a big family like mine, you need a lot of eggs. I'm gonna throw that in my compost. Then we're gonna add 2 cups of half and half. Gonna add another cup of just plain milk, no cream. And then let's whisk that up so that we get the eggs really mixed in there. And it's a lot of egg yolk, so you just whisk it, keep whisking it, and it mix up. Just want to make sure you mix it really good. Can you see? It's a coming, y'all. After you whisk your eggs, then you start adding your other ingredients. This is like 2 tablespoons of vanilla, then cinnamon and nutmeg, about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Then you're gonna add 2 tablespoons of your favorite sugar. I use organic. I try to use organic when I can, but y'all, it's so expensive now. Then you're gonna use your brown sugar, just so I'll break that up in there. It's smelling good, y'all. Yeah, it is. Can you see that? You see my eggs still not mixing? So you gotta really whisk, because you want it all nice and mixed when you pour this over your baguettes, your French toast baguettes. And then what you're gonna do next, you know what you're gonna do. You're gonna add a dash of salt. A dash, that's what my dash looks like. And then you're gonna take this mixture, can you see it? And it smells so good. I love cooking at home. I just love to smell the aromas. You're gonna take this mixture, right? And you're gonna pour it over your baguettes. Now, you see how these baguettes have been in the refrigerator overnight, and you see how I've sliced them. Now, you wanna make sure they're evenly coated, so you flip them in the morning. I just need to flip a couple. My hands are clean. I don't know, in my house, good food, they don't care whether my finger's in it or not. They gonna eat what I cook. And anyway, the heat, anything wrong with it, the heat gonna make it all better. There you go. So you're gonna take that mixture, you're gonna pour it over your baguettes. Okay, now I wanna make a yummy topping for this. All right, and what we're going to do is take some corn syrup, about 2 tablespoons, 2 sticks of butter, more cinnamon, nutmeg, and let us get some brown sugar in the mix. So let me put that over there, and let's get to mixing, y'all. Let's start with our butter. The butter is nice and soft and creamy, so I didn't have to melt it. Look at all over my fingers. Just the way you like it. Cinnamon, nutmeg. And then let's get some of this corn syrup out, which really isn't the best for you, but it's good in here. Okay. Corn syrup, and then some brown sugar. This is so good, y'all. And you know what? If you want to, you can mix some pecans with it. If you know, people are so allergic to so many different things, so I don't mix the pecans in here. I just add them, let people add them as they want. And see how I'm mixing this up. So it makes like this paste. And then you're going to take this paste and you're going to smear it on top. Oh, that smells so good. I wish you could smell it. You can hear all my banging, can't you? I have heavy pans. And this, you see, you just smear it. This is a fun thing to do with your grandbabies if you got grandbabies. They could use their fingers and smear it. They will think you're the best grandma ever. And there you have it. See, you just smear it over. And it's gonna melt. It's gonna be so yummy. And then off to, I'm gonna get this off. I think I can get some more. And then off to the oven for 40 minutes. Okay, 40 minutes in. All right, let's see what we got. Yeah, 40 minutes in. Looky here, looky here. Okay, let's taste. Look at this, our French toast casserole. It's all done, pulling away a little bit, nice and set and ready to taste. And I'm just gonna take this little piece. That's why I like doing the baguettes, because it pulls apart so nicely. And it has lots of brown sugar in it already. But you can always top it with your favorite syrup. And I'm gonna put a little syrup on mine. Let's see. This is amazing. I hope you enjoy it as much as my family does. And as you can see, as much as I do. Happy holiday.
Y'all, isn't Miss Trina delightful? She is hilarious. And that breakfast dish,
Yeah.
and whatever she makes, you need to make. And also, she's always on Instagram cooking up things. And so you should follow her, Trina Jenkins 6, and learn all from her, not just about cooking, but about taking care of a home, taking care of her family, and holidays. She's all about the holidays. So, but now back to us. We've been cooking in the kitchen, savory. Now it's time for some
Sweet.
Let's do it. Okay, so now it's time for some dessert. We've actually shared this dessert on our Christmas cooking show before, but it's just tried and true. Just recently, though, I wanted to make it. It was Nani's birthday on a Sunday, her 75th birthday, and we thought how appropriate to make cherry cake on her special day, but I didn't make it. Who made it?
My oldest daughter, Kelsey.
Because this is something that y'all make this every now and again at home.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, and so she made it. It's super easy. It's a crowd pleaser, and so we just wanted to show you how to make it real quick. So if you'll open that up, it's just yellow cake mix. The yellow matters. We had to make yellow cake mix because I only had white. So we Googled how to make cake mix yellow, and you can totally do that, but yellow makes it look prettier. And then we've got,
Oh my gosh.
here, be like Rachel Ray and just cut it open with the,
This is a setup. It really is not working. Oh, there we go.
So we've got 1 egg, 2 eggs, a half a cup of oil. which actually, if you have Pam, you're good. But if you don't, then just a little oil in the pan will do. And we need about a half a cup here, so we want to guess on the oil.
We're guessing
Been
half
guessing
a cup?
all day. Half a cup is a lot to guess.
That is a lot. It's at least maybe 3 of those. Half a cup?
I feel like this is like a tablespoon. I mean, we could guess, right? We could just do this a few
Okay,
times.
let's not guess. Let's just use a measuring cup.
We don't want to mess up the baked goods. So half a cup, right? That we're aiming for? All right. See, that would have been a lot of those. Half a cup of oil. And then half a cup of water, actually.
Okay.
Super easy, super quick. So I'll let you mix that up.
All right.
Then I will make sure the pan is nice and oiled. And actually, I think the ingredients on the recipe tell you how long you're supposed to cook it, but I think Mom always cooked it just a little shy of that. So it'd be a little gummy, not as full cakey as it was a little undercooked. After you mix up your cake mix, you pour it in the pan, and then you take your cherry mix. And you don't take this cherry mix and like stir this up. This is not a stir this up kind of situation. It is a weave in and out situation. And Mommy used to always make 2 batches of this. They would come out of the oven fresh and hot.
Yep.
We'd run to go get it. And what I love about this dish when we talk about it, when we make it, all the kids know this is Nani's dessert dish. Yeah.
And I feel like everybody has their like type of piece that they like. Some people
Corner.
like, yep.
Cherry filling, no full cherries. That's me.
Oh,
I don't necessarily need the cherry. I just want mostly cake with a little flavor of sweet.
okay.
Yeah, it's so funny. When we were growing up, she would take whatever she had and use either like a knife or the butt of whatever she stirred it with, and she would just take it and draw lines like this too. And we were always like, why is she messing that up? But it always seemed to come out just right.
Yep.
So let's look at another way that you can make cherry cake. If you don't have a 9x13 dish, maybe they're all taken up with other dishes, you can put it in a bundt pan. So we have a bundt version of our cherry cake as well that we'll share with you. And then you can slice it, and I'll let you slice a piece, and let's see how pretty it is. The bottom line is this with some Bluebell if you have it, any kind of ice cream, make sure it's warm. And it's just pretty. It's a great Christmas dish too, because it's got that red running through. So make cherry cake, try it. And when you try it, think about Lois Evans when you do. This recipe too is at loisevans.org/recipes. So the good thing about cherry cake is that we have shared memories as a larger family. This recipe that we're going to make for you now is shared recipes right here. There was a season when you and Jonathan first got married and you would come over and just hang out all the time.
I think I had Kelsey at the time. I just had one kid.
Yeah, it wasn't the full cacophony of
Just
all the
one.
5. It was just the one. And Karis was older. And we would make these dinners, hang out, and at the end, probably over American Idol and some kind of other foolishness.
Law and Order or
Listen,
something.
we would make this dish decadent, easy and good.
Yeah.
Okay, so all you do is you get some, really the fact that it comes with croissant rolls is all you need to know. But you just take these, I'll let you spread some of these out. And typically when you look at this recipe, we talk about making it with 2 packages, but we're just gonna demonstrate with you for 1 right now. And all you're doing is you're opening up your croissant roll and rolling in 1 to 2 slices, thinly sliced apples. And then after that, you're just making more sugar and butter and cinnamon to go over the top. The fun ingredients for this recipe is Mountain Dew. You just have to trust me on this. You just have to trust me.
Go all in.
Okay, so let me get these ready to go. Let me get...
Am I rolling this flat, Chrystal?
Yeah, you're rolling it flat. And then you do separate them. Melted butter. It's called a full cup. If you don't know, let me introduce you to a full cup. It's called 2 sticks of butter, okay? So all you're gonna do is, if I wanted to sound like somebody else, all you're gonna do is, I was around somebody this weekend that was talking like that. You literally just take them and roll them up. And again, one thin slice is enough if you wanna be super appley.
Because apples are healthy.
Because apples are
So it's basically.
You know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So after you've had her vegan pasta dish, what is it, rainbow pasta, you should feel completely free to have that. If you need permission, you have received it from us. Go in God.
Wow.
Go with God. God likes good food. Just making stuff up.
What is happening?
The Bible said, no, I'm just kidding. Okay. So you just roll them up, 1 or 2 slices to the degree that your family loves apples. And you're just going to evenly space them out in your dish. Okay. So what you're doing with all of this amazingness is you're going to add sugar to your butter. And again, we're making half of this, but normally this is going to be a cup of butter, which is 2 sticks. This is just 1. It's going to be a full 1.5 cups of sugar. I know. So we're going to do half of that, which is, this doesn't seem like half, but it is.
Abundance.
Abundance, that's a great word. You're also going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're just doing this half of it, so I'm just going to add a half a teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. You want to stir this up. I'm going to use my little half teaspoon to do this. All right, so now here's the deal. You're going to pour this over your apples. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yep.
Then you're going to take your Mountain Dew and you're going to pour that over the pan. And then all you do is sprinkle it with a little cinnamon to have that over the top.
I mean,
to make it look
cinnamon
cute.
is healthy.
Cinnamon is healthy. Cinnamon lowers your blood sugar. You're welcome.
How much cinnamon does it take?
to fix this? We'll worry about that after January the 1st.
That's fine.
So you're just gonna make it look pretty. And then you put it in the oven. It's gonna be in the oven for 40 minutes on 350. And again, you can make this full as the recipe has you making it. These would be a lot tighter and more combined, or you can split it up into half to share with a friend. Because we could eat all of these by ourselves.
We have.
But here's the thing, all of these recipes we're hoping give you ideas for celebrating the holidays in ways that create memories. Because literally I kept thinking, this recipe is so good. Who was I eating this with? And when we brought the ingredients in, Kanika was like, oh, are we gonna make that Mountain Dew apple thing?
Lots of memories.
And lots of memories came back about late nights on the couch, getting sleepy, being silly, but always eating dessert. So we hope this has been a blessing to you. We hope this helps you to create memories. Are you gonna try this with your kids?
I will.
After the rainbow pasta.
Balance. It's about balance.
And we hope our recipes that have been simple and hearty and simple and
healthy
give you some variety this season in your holidays, your traditions, and all of your family fun. Thanks so much for joining us. Okay, so we have all this amazing food before us, and I can't wait to take a bite of it. But as we get our food, I have some questions for you.
Okay.
Inquiring minds want to know. Legacy is a big word, and you know, Evan's family, we talk about legacy all the time. But 18 years in, what would you say your experience has been marrying into a ministry family? Like, you have your own salvation story and all, you know, your experience with the Lord and church and all that, but kind of marrying into a family who's in motion in ministry. What has that been like for you?
It's just been really, I mean, a lot of it has been really fun because it's just a different experience. You're experiencing different parts of ministry because I feel like all of y'all are in different facets of ministry. And also it's just kind of Jonathan's evolution in ministry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't really, when we got married, that wasn't really what he was doing.
Did you feel bamboozled?
No, it's fine. It's fine. But I just think it is, I actually appreciate for my kids that they can see that there are different ways to serve in ministry and to be part of God's plan. It doesn't always look like the one thing you would think of is, you know, preaching on a Sunday morning, the pastor.
Yeah.
It's not the only way.
Yeah.
So just being able to weave the different parts of ministry.
Well, I love seeing how even you and the kids, Jonathan, how y'all have been involved as a family. Like even in his role as Next Gen at the church, like y'all are there serving, but the kids are there serving along with you.
Yeah.
And that's been really, really important. Okay, so I have another question because you got five kids. The question everybody wants to know, inquiring minds want to know, how do you manage it all? You've got your marriage, you've got your kids, you've got their activities, you have all of the things that are responsibilities at church. How would you say you make it easy to make it easy? You make it look easy, Kanika.
Do I?
You do.
Well, most of the time, I just expect that it's not going to be perfect. And I think changing my expectation with that, I don't get as upset. Like, I'm planning for us to be late somewhere. So then that means I need to start earlier. Instead of planning that everything's going to go perfect, then we're late, then everybody's mad. Then we just need to allow some grace period, you know, time-wise.
But you had to learn that.
I've had to learn that.
Okay.
And I think there's just different seasons of hard. And so just figuring out what that looks like, if we need to get help in certain things, you know, we try to, even though we have so many kids, a lot of times it's hard to let each kid live their thing. And so we want each kid to be able to explore what their interests are. And so if we need someone, a babysitter to come help transport them because we physically can't be in two places at one time, then for that season, then we have someone help us do that. So I think it's just about being adaptable and not expecting just because it was like that, like a certain way this year, it may not be like that next year.
Because as soon as you figure it out, the schedule will change. It will
or you're going to have another baby or, you know.
Because you have 5 of them.
Because I've had 5.
Okay, get yourself a piece of this. I've got one more question for you.
Okay.
Ooh, I just want some of that. And then pass that rainbow pasta over here this way. That's been the thing I'm most excited about. Okay. Marriage and ministry, all the things. How do you prioritize marriage, particularly during the holiday season, because so much can be about ministry or even about the kids?
Right. Well, Jonathan, he does a really good job of trying to set aside time for us because I'm in the weeds of all the kids' schedules. And so I'm always thinking about how to move these chess pieces around to make everything work. And so he does a really good job of taking time and saying, nope, we're going on a date this night. We're going to spend time together this day. And even like right before Thanksgiving now, he likes to do something leading up to Thanksgiving, right before we get into the thick of all that.
Just the two of you.
Just the two of us. So it may be a staycation. We may go travel somewhere. We may have all the kids leave the house and we're home.
Listen, because that's a luxury.
And your house feels different.
It does.
When it's just you home and everybody else is gone. Just trying to, that actually is one of our traditions now, is to set aside that time before everything gets crazy. And so that has been really helpful just for our relationship and being able to reconnect without everybody else.
That sounds great. Okay, rainbow pasta, please.
Yes.
I have one last question for you.
Okay.
As I get my rainbow pasta. Because this is about to be our new favorite. I just can see it. I can see it. When you are old and gray, which is, not going to happen anytime soon. No. When you're old and gray, what memory that you're currently making do you feel like is going to be the memory that makes you smile? I mean, there'll be lots of them, but which one kind of comes to mind as a favorite?
What memory? That's a hard one to pick.
Or tradition or...
There's one tradition that we have that we really enjoy is on New Year's Eve, all of the kids, we all go in the kitchen and we make cookies together. Like all 7 of us. And And then, so the kids look forward to that now. Are we going to make the cookies on New
And
Year's
is this
Eve and watch
Nestle or this is homemade?
This is homemade,
Okay.
from scratch. And, you know, we turn on the TV, watch the ball drop, all of that. But it's like all of the build up, you know,
Yeah.
have all the fixings or whatever to make our full dessert situation. But I think that's a time that we just I just have pictures of us doing it when we had 2 kids and then 3 kids and then 4 kids and then 5. So that's a fun memory for our
Love
family.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I'm about to make a memory right here. Pass me that salmon. This food looks so good. Now, did you get any
I
yet?
didn't. I'm
Okay.
gonna have to switch utensils.
Okay.
Just go ahead
Sounds
and do
good.
that.
And I'm going to make some new memories with some of these new dishes. That's the plan.
I agree.
That
I
is
mean,
the
we have a whole meal, and then we add
A whole
Miss Trina's situation
I
that she
mean,
gave us.
I
And
know.
then we're ready to go.
be good to go. Well, this has been great. And I know that we're all just trying to figure out the holidays. We're trying to make memories. We're trying to make sure everybody has something to remember as they get older. But in doing that, I think, you know, just sharing, even as untogether or as imperfect as our recipes might be, I think it's encouraging. At least it's encouraging for me to have this conversation with you and for us to share this conversation with everybody else who's just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And
has
just
been
go
great.
with the flow, like we do with the recipes.
Lower the expectations. So we know that pastors' wives often, like every other mother and wife out there, are figuring it out and balancing it all. But we know it's with the additional piece of always having service as a part
Right.
of your family and pouring out of your family. And so because the Pastor's Wives ministry wants to continue to equip and empower women who are in ministry, leading and serving alongside their husbands, there are 2 things that we want to make sure you know about. The first thing is we're really excited about our Pastor's Wives ministry retreat, which is coming up in April of 2025. You can go to loisevans.org/retreat for more information. And as a reminder, all of these recipes, the correct measurements, even though you can make it your own, you can find them at loisevans.org/recipes. And thank you, Kanika, for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Listen, your red lipstick, is that Ruby Woo? No, not
It
quite.
is.
It is? That's what you need for the holidays. And then go get you some like holiday apron situation, you know? Tis the season. That's the ticket right there.